Yeah, we've definitely all kind of got our own ways of recharging. The the first hurdle, or like, the biggest lesson we had to learn early on, is that we all recharge differently. And when you're in proximity with the same five people for 18 hours a day, you know, everybody's got pet peeves. Like, I get on people's nerves, people get on my nerves, and like really having to internalize that, like, we're all here with the same goal, and we're all just trying to like feel comfortable in this, like, less than ideal conditions a lot of the time. So a lot of it is like learning to just kind of uh yeah, like, respect and set just kind of like implied boundaries with, like, like, I'm not going to be like eating snacks and like leaving chip bags all over the van where they're like spilling into other people's space and stuff like that. So like part of it is like learning how much space to take up while also like being like reasonable. And then I like to go for walks and like get away from the group. As much as I love those guys, I also need some time to myself every now and again. So when we're in some, more scenic parts of the country or parts of the world, like out west, there are a lot of cities that'll have like hiking trails that start like right in the city center, or like on the edge of downtown. Like, I can take an Uber or a bus and then, like, go walk up a nice hill and get a nice view or something like that. So like I'll do stuff like that to kind of snap myself out of the, like, clockwork, wake up, drive, play a show, sleep, wake up, drive. But like uh so anything to kind of like break up the routine is nice for me personally. Another thing I like to do is I like scope out restaurants on the drive and then be like, I'm gonna get lunch here and dinner here. And like having like little things like that to look forward to that are entirely within my control does so much for my sanity, because uh so much of it is just, on the schedule, and it was put there by somebody else and I just have to do it. So it takes a good amount of effort sometimes, because I might only have 3 hours of downtime on a given day. But to be able to use that 3 hours intentionally for something like that I'm doing on my own accord, instead of being like kind of dragged along by somebody else, or like told to do by somebody else, can like make me feel like I have this sense of control too while I'm on the road, which is an easy thing to lose if you're not careful.
Yeah, I could actually understand that when you mention that because I never thought about that about losing control because realistically, your life can be planned out by somebody else your whole entire day. It's like, hey, you need to drive, you got to be up at 7 a.m., you got to be at this venue by noon. So you got to drive there
Yeah.
straight. You got sound check or load in, sound check, all this. Next thing you know, it's 4 o'clock. Well, doors are at just say 6. So
Yeah.
now you
And
got
you haven't eaten yet.
yeah.
Um,
So now it's like, oh, now you got to go get food, and of course, at this point, you might as well, like you got to get food with all the guys because you don't have real all the time in the world to go
yeah.
off on your own and do stuff. And then next thing you know, doors open. Well, it's kind of you can't really disappear from the venue and
Yeah.
show and then tear down, and yeah, your day's done.
Uh, yeah. Those first couple tours, I really didn't have to worry about that because everything was so new and exciting. I hadn't been to 90% of these places before. So it's all like just kind of blowing my mind. But recently when we get to like, like, for example, I love playing in Denver, but pulling into Denver for the fifth time is not as exciting as pulling into Denver for the first time. So like I kind of have to be intentional about, like, I still have to kind of carve out a section of my day for myself, when, like, so much of my time is being devoted to the band.